This is NBA Av coming to you on January 15th, 2024. We're going to review the NBA action from the 5 games that we had last night. And we have games starting right now. It is 10:35 Eastern. We have games starting in 2.5 hours on this Martin Luther King Day. So we're just going to run through yesterday's games first. Like I said, today's January 15th. So the games on the night of the 14th, we had the Nuggets beating the Pacers 117-109. The Heat beating the Hornets in another expected victory 104-87. Only 87 points scored by LaMelo Ball and his $250+ million contract. And then we have the Bucks defeating the Kings in overtime. Bucks 143, Kings 142, and the Kings have to be absolutely kicking themselves for losing that game because they missed at least three or four foul shots at the end of the game, and they had that game in the bag. They had it in the bag in regulation, and they had it in the bag in overtime. Really, really a disappointing loss. When you watch Milwaukee play, if there was any team that exemplifies today's NBA in terms of the run and gun 3 and D, where you're trying to shoot what's considered a high percentage shot. So you're either going to take a 3-point shot, an open 3-point shot, which statistically is the best shot in basketball, or a layup or a dunk, which is the other best shot in basketball. Nobody does that more than Milwaukee. If you watch Milwaukee play, it's almost always Lillard shooting a 3, Giannis getting to the hoop, Lopez shooting a 3. That's how they try to play. That was on display last night. And if there was a game of just pure offense, the Bucks and the Kings is that. It was the offense bowl, very little defense being played. De'Aaron Fox was able to walk up to the foul line, and where he usually has to use some hesitation to get the shot off, here he was able to literally walk past the foul line and calmly hoist up his patented go-to, one-hander De'Aaron Fox push shot. It was some of the worst defense that you can possibly see in the league. And the Bucks aren't much better. We know that despite having one of the greatest defensive players in the last 20 years in Giannis, they don't play great defense. They don't have Jrue Holiday. They now have Damian Lillard. They're all in on offense. And the Bucks now have 3 victories in a row. And this is one that the Kings are going to rue the day they lost this game. I know it's a long season, but you can't lose games by missing 3 or more foul shots when you're trying to ice the game. That's a really, really brutal way of losing. And then losing by the buzzer beater by Dame Lillard, where the Bucks didn't even have a timeout at the end of overtime. And they inbound the ball, and Damian Lillard gets a 3-point shot of that quality when you knew who was going to shoot the ball. There was no doubt in the building that Damian Lillard was getting the final shot. They had no timeout. They had to go the full length of the court with only between 5 and 7 seconds left in the game. Utterly horrible loss for the Kings. Then we turn our attention to the other important game, the other close game, where the Timberwolves scored 109, beating the red-hot Los Angeles Clippers 109-105. Something that I realized watching this game is Kawhi Leonard likes playing with Russell Westbrook. You can tell he likes playing with him. And it looks like the way they have settled in with their lineup is they like to pair James Harden with Paul George, and they like to pair Kawhi Leonard with Russell Westbrook. And why wouldn't you like playing with Russ if you're as talented as Kawhi and you just need him to get you the ball in a decent spot? He hustles, he plays with his heart, never gives up. He's in a very, very pass-first mode, except for at the end of this game where he had to try and shoot some threes just to get them back in it. And he hit them. But Timberwolves missed Rudy Gobert foul shots aside. They really played a good game early, and then they did what they did against Boston the other night, which was when the game is winding down, they struggle to not give up that big lead. They had a nice cushion. This was a double-digit cushion almost the whole game. And they really... something happened to them at the end of the game where they were giving up the threes, and you knew who was going to shoot them also. You knew it was going to be Powell. You knew that they were going to have to hit the threes to get back into it, and still, the Clippers were able to score. And then the Timberwolves weren't scoring as much on the other end. Rudy Gobert, of course, put the game away with a great block on Kawhi Leonard. And it's a great victory, 109-105, beating one of the best teams in the NBA, a team that's been super red hot. But this is becoming a trend for the Timberwolves. Nice big lead, nice cushion. You're in perfect position to just ice the game with a few minutes to go. They let the other team back in, and they make it exciting. It's good for the viewer. It's exciting at the end. You get a nice block there at the end, and everybody's, whoa, Rudy Gobert, when it mattered most. It didn't need to come to that, though. It didn't need that. I'm sure their coach didn't feel like they needed to make it that close. I'm sure their owner didn't feel like it needed to be that close. Nonetheless, Timberwolves stay atop the Western Conference. And then, of course, the Phoenix Suns beating the Trailblazers 127-116. No need to go into that one. It would have been a real solemn day in Phoenix if the Suns couldn't pull off that victory. And on this Martin Luther King Day, we have games starting real soon. We have a full, jam-packed day of NBA action. We have we're gonna kick off at 1 Eastern with the Rockets going against the 76ers. Hopefully Joel Embiid is playing. Should be some great action. You have the Pelicans against the Mavericks. Again, we hope everyone's playing. We hope Zion's playing. We hope that Luka's playing, but who knows? Then we have the one that we can skip. We have Pistons against the Wizards. Who really cares? Wizards will probably win. The Wizards won their last game, and they'll probably win this one. Pistons 3 and 1,000. You can never, ever go into a game and pick them. Then we have the Knicks going against the Magic. The Magic keep winning. They keep winning, and they're really not that great. But it shows you if you want to win and you're playing dedicated, you can win. Now, if the Knicks have Jalen Brunson on the court today, he missed the last game, but if he's on the court today, Knicks at home, they got to protect the Garden. The Knicks have to win this game. Then you have the Spurs going against the Hawks, and the way the Hawks are playing right now, and the struggles they're going through, and the headlines surrounding their team. Will they be trading DeJounte Murray? Won't they? You know what really hurt that team? Was when they traded Kevin Huerter. And Kevin Huerter was an absolute killer for the Sacramento Kings last night. He hit 3 or 4 incredible deep three-pointers when the Kings really needed it. Still lost the game, but if the Hawks could just go back in time to when they beat the Knicks in the playoffs and Trae Young was playing great and Bogdanovich, who they still have, plus Huerter on the court, and still retaining all those draft picks they had. And no, they give it all up for DeJounte Murray, a guy who isn't a great shooter, a guy who essentially plays point. He really likes to create and play point when they already have Trae Young. Man, if they could just go back in time. But anyway, the Spurs are going to be playing the Hawks. Who knows what's going to happen with the way the Hawks are playing? You'd have to pick them if you're a betting man, but the Spurs maybe trying a little bit harder at this point in the season. People are getting a little fed up with Popovich, just becoming a tank commander, losing as many games as they can. So you have the Spurs against the Hawks at 3:30. Then we have the Warriors against the very, very, very shorthanded Grizzlies without their two top players. They are playing guys from the G League. The Grizzlies are playing rookies who you didn't think would see the court this year, but without Ja Morant, without Desmond Bane. Warriors, hopefully Steph Curry will be back. We'll see. Hopefully Draymond Green will be back soon. We'll see. Warriors have to win this game. Bulls playing the Cavaliers. Bulls, they were getting hot for a little bit. Cavaliers, a better team. Jared Allen and their other big man, his name is slipping my mind right now, but you have the tandem there, the Twin Towers with Donovan Mitchell. They're just a better team. You have to take the Cavaliers over the Bulls, especially with the Bulls not being as hot as they were before. Then we go to the Heat playing the Nets. We'll see if the Heat can string together a couple of victories. Pretty favorable schedule for them. Going against the Nets today and coming off a game against the Hornets, you have to capitalize when you play bad teams in the NBA because there aren't that many. The Nets have to be considered from the lower part of the league. There's the 6 terrible teams, and then the Nets and the Raptors have to be right there after that. Celtics going to be playing the Raptors. Obviously, you pick the Celtics going in every game, even on the road, no matter what the situation is. Celtics should defeat the Raptors. You have the Pacers going against the Jazz, who are coming off a couple of incredible victories. But with Tyrese Halliburton, the Pacers have the capability to win every game. They have the capability to score 130, 140 points in any game. Should be a great game of action at 9 p.m. tonight. Eastern, Pacers versus Jazz. And then you have everyone's favorite team, the Thunder, going against the Lakers. Thunder played the Lakers last year in the game where LeBron broke the scoring record. Thunder beat them in that game. Well, the Thunder are even better now. Lakers becoming more and more desperate for victories. LeBron hasn't been playing. D'Angelo Russell's been playing really well, but they haven't been able to mix things in correctly with Austin Reeves. Anthony Davis, when LeBron's not on the court, struggles a bit more. He tries to play make. It hurts them. And we'll see if the Lakers can figure something out and come up with a much-needed victory against the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's just about going to wrap it up for us here on NBA Ave. So we are NBA Avenue, your NBA venue for a great time and some casual NBA conversation. Have a couple of football games today. The final 2 games of NFL wildcard weekend. You have a game that was rescheduled because of inclement weather in Pittsburgh. Well, in Buffalo, really, but between Buffalo and Pittsburgh. And you have some disappointment in Dallas. If you are a Dallas fan, you're likely very depressed today. More of the same for your team. The most predictable bet in any sport is Dallas to be one of the best teams in the league during the regular season and lose in the playoffs. More of the same for them. They have to figure out what to do. And in a lot of ways, the worst place to be is having players who are good enough where they're good during the regular season, but you know that there's no chance you'll ever win the championship or the Super Bowl, depending on what sport we're talking about. That's really the worst place to be because you want to have a chance to win it. It's better, in my opinion, to be a little bit more volatile, to have really good seasons and really bad seasons, but have a chance at winning the whole thing, which is why you're playing the game. So, looking forward to a jam-packed day of NBA action here on Martin Luther King Day. Got the football games as well, and we'll catch you on the next one.